If we're evolving to unconditional love, which I believe we are, that is the one thing that the animals are here to teach us above and beyond anything. So where we're sitting right now used to be a big wet space with two collapsed hay barracks on either side. And so what I did is we bought the property that's behind us, but then I'm leasing this property from Shelburne Farm for the next 40 years.
40 years.
40 years. I figured by that time I'll be too old to lift the harness up on the horses. I've always believed that there was a God or an overall universal force. And the stories in the Bible were interesting to me, but I never took them literally. So I've been walking down more of a spiritual path, and there's a difference between religion and spiritual, although there can definitely be a crossover in it. But I do not belong to one religious denomination. In fact, all of them have beautiful and wonderful things to share with us. I think a lot of people who do telepathic communication are already inclined as highly intuitive, very artistic. A lot of them have a very strong musical sense, and we come into it in different ways. There's 4 different ways of intuitively connecting in with energy. One is called clairvoyance, which is seeing. One is clairaudience, which is hearing. One is clairsentience, which is feeling it in our bodies. Most people who are highly empathic take on other people's pain. They can feel it exactly in their body where it is. And then there's claircognizance, which is an all-knowing, where you just know it. There's some animals that are so easy to talk to, just like people. They're so easy to connect with, and then other ones are very guarded and shut down, and it's much harder to connect with them. This is a great story. I have I have 4 draft horses here, and the head horse, his name is Pete. And when Pete came, he was pretty shut down, and it's taken about 2 years, but it's interesting because he's not one of the friendlier horses. He wants you to respect him, and then he'll respect you, but you have to earn his respect. So one of the people who work for me here at one point was talking about how horses aren't very smart. In fact, he said horses were stupid, and that all they did was run away, and they didn't think things through, and went on and on about 5 or 10 minutes. And the horses were in here while he was talking about it. And the next day, we came to get them ready for work, and he went down to pick Pete's feet. Pete wouldn't pick his feet up for him at all. I mean, it was like Pete had just sunk concrete pillars into the ground, and no matter what he did, Pete did not lift his feet up for him. So Jill and I immediately knew what was going on, and we were trying not to laugh because we didn't want to make him mad or anything. So finally, Jill just went over, reached down, tapped his foot, and said, "Hoof, please, Pete." And Pete, up went the hoof. And we were like, oh, so who's stupid now, When you have horses like mine, or any horse, but my horses are about 2,400 pounds apiece. And when you have horses like that, they could do basically anything they wanted to. They don't have to be following me. And so it's an element of trust on that I take good care of them, they take good care of me, because they could really hurt me, or they could, they could kill me if something happened. And that's what I find just so wonderful about horses, in a way is this mutual trust and understanding that we're developing, that there's nothing like it. From my experience with working with the animals, we all have a soul. And the animals tell me they all go home. That's how they refer to heaven. And they all describe it as a white light, and I think of it as the Christ consciousness light, full of peace and joy, no pain, pain-free. The whales have been working on teaching us, the dolphins, the whales, the horses, the elephants, because we're starting to lose these animals in large quantities, and they're leaving this planet. They're going to other dimensions and they're leaving this planet. We're at a time in our evolution right now where either we start listening to them or they're leaving. And I think it's a very critical time in the evolution of this planet. We have a mass consciousness of humans around this world that can make a difference, and we can make a difference in how we choose to live our lives. We're evolving to becoming one. We started as one. It broke apart, and we've been living in a world of duality for over 2,000 years, and the evolution is for us to come back into unity again. The animals never left that. They've been sitting here waiting for us to remember and wake up to that, and it's just taking us a really long time to do that. So we're living in this grand experiment, and what we're doing now in this evolution of ourselves is finding out how to be that unified one again. Because wouldn't that be interesting? God has done this great experiment, and so I hope He doesn't get tired of but here we are on this journey of figuring out how to be one again. A lot of times you'll feel the animal's spirit goes home, as they call going up to heaven. And it takes a little while for them to come back, or sometimes it takes a week or so to reconnect with the spirit. But that didn't happen with Hercules. I felt like part of him never really left. I still feel him here quite strongly. Jaguar called out for him the whole next week. We would pass the farm barn, and Jaguar would whinny and wait for a response, and you could just tell that Hercules is still here. And I don't think he's ever going to leave. We have him here under this hickory tree. Hickory trees are known for their resilience and their strength, and I think it's a very appropriate place for him. And he just had this such a huge, gentle heart in this massive body, that there was just something about him that I think was, it really touched on a lot of emotions in people. It's funny because I cry not because so much that he's gone, but it just brought out so much love.